Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 2 of the Gay Knitters podcast. I'm your host, Michael, also known on Revelry as Yellow ZX5. As you've noticed from the last episode, which was a little crude, I spiced it up a little bit with a little bit of a entry. I'm going to start trying to work on a structure to my podcast. So this week, to my left, next to my iPad, which is what I currently am recording on, I have a little list of everything that I wanted to talk about. So, um, my first topic I would like to talk about is my finished objects. I was working on a nice hat for my father, which I think might be going to my nephew. It is just a simple, basic wool hat. You can see it's a gray color. I've never knitted with this type of wool. Um, if you watched my first episode, which was basically just a little bit of an introduction, I'm a big fan of Noro wools. And this hat, when I knit it, you can see um, it's got little pieces of grass and everything left in it every now and then. Just a simple pattern I just basically threw together the knit and purl, and then every other one you'll see is a little short before it gets into the purl section here, and then it's all knit up to the top. Basically, I was hoping to make this a hat, but instead it doesn't fit all the way over the ears, so it's almost like a toque. Um, Kind of cute, not anything special. This is just a simple, again, hat. Roll up the brim a little bit. I'm just looking in the picture since we all like to watch ourselves when we podcast. Something really simple. I've now knit anything for my father, my brother. I've knit things for my nephew who is 10 or 11 actually. And I've knit things for my niece who is 12, my mother, and my um, sister. They all get knittings, other than a couple friends that I've knit for as well. Um, so that is my finished object. My current project, since I'm working with the Canadian Knitter Podcast's 2016 Winter Camp, this month's theme is actually the head, thus a hat, which is what I'm knitting, and the color themes are purple and blue. And since I'm a little bit dumb when it comes to certain colors, I decided to cast on this hat with a burgundy. This is the Plymouth Yarns. I actually have a skein of the blue version of it. So this is just the Pacific. It's actually, I love the mirror. This is the blue version of it, which I'm going to knit another hat out of. It's basically just a superwash and acrylic. Um, Really nice and soft, which is what you get the superwash, and I'm sure it's going to be very warm. I'm actually using a pattern for this, which is a themed, um, or actually one of the designers of the month. It's a really nice hat. Trying to see if I can pull it up here because I am obviously not set or ready for this type of thing. Um, just like every single person, I have decided to use 15 different tablets, my iPhone, and this is called Magdolna from Emily Matisse. It's actually a really, really pretty hat. Um, you can just about see it in this picture. Um, I've never done a lace, which you see right here. Um, so this is something new for me. It's part of my 2016 New Year's resolution, is to basically step out of my comfort zone when it comes to certain knittings. I have never knitted socks. I've never knitted a cowl or one of those long pieces that women will wear. Um, and not for 2016, maybe 2017, I'll want to maybe work on my own sweater because I usually knit for everybody else and not for myself. But that's my lovely resolution for the next 12 months. Um, my projects that I really want to work on, um, one of my friends, I really want to knit him a very nice hat. I'm sure many knitters out there, and I'm sure a couple podcasters have talked about it, but there are a small group of people that are allergic to wool. So superwash merinos are out. Any wool-based products are going to be out of the question, and a lot of us like working with them. So I went to my favorite yarn store that just opened up here, um, called Must Love Yarn. These people are, the lady in there today was just super, super friendly. They have their website, mustloveyarn.com. If you go on there, definitely take a look. I'll show you what I purchased today. I won't go too much in depth of what I have purchased because I want to split up my yarn stash a little bit between a couple episodes. Um, so I went there today, wanted to look at some baby alpaca because when I like to knit things for special friends, I want to use a high quality fiber. And to me, an alpaca or baby alpaca is really, really nice. He's a farmer and a little bit rugged, so obviously I don't want to use, flamboyant colors. But I'm a big fan of the trendy grays that have been hitting the market and everything with certain things. I work in retail at a Lowe's here, which, if you're not in the United States, you've probably heard of Home Depot, which is our biggest competitor, and I sell flooring. So our biggest trendy colors with designers and everything is grays. So thus that gray hat. Um, so what I think I'm going to be working on next is just your traditional hat, winter hat for him. I want to do maybe another one of these Magdolna hats for maybe my niece or my sister, since they can definitely wear wool. Um, I am probably for next month, um, it's going to be the neck, I believe it is. Um, so I'll probably be working on a nice scarf, probably with some lace designs or some cables, since I haven't learned how to knit cables and it doesn't seem that hard to knit. Um, the net basic, I guess, moving to my stash, you saw my Pacific wool that I have found recently. Um, my what I bought today at Must Love Yarn was this person that lives right behind the place, his mother used to run a yarn shop, and so he brought over all this yarn for them to get rid of. So I bought for $5 this um, Galway Irish knitting wool. I bought it in a blue, which shows up a little purpley, and I bought definitely a purple because these are the two colors for this month. So if I decide to do purple or blue, either way, I'm set for the month of January for my stash. Um, I also have recently become addicted. Thank you, podcasters out there that I like to watch. My favorite to really watch lately have been Two Tango Skeins. You ladies are very evil out there because I, as you can see, Sue loves Minions, and my friend, who I call my wife, that you'll probably hear me call my wife, but she's really not my wife. Her name is Amanda. She is the host of the Mandy Pinecone, or Mandy Crafting podcast. I forgot. But she has her own podcast as well. Um, she was the one who got me into knitting, and thanks to her, yarn bag number 1, nice pink. This is the little tags that's on all of them. So that's number 1. Number 2, which is new for today. The first one I had already. This is my second one. Thus the price tag still on it. This is number 3. Again, not that expensive for these. They're just simple, cheap little knitting bags. And this is the first one I picked out. Love this. I love the hummingbird. And it looks like a lily, which is one of my favorite flowers. These I got today. They were $6.50 each, and they're just they're basically, when you see it, pretty cheap project bags. Again, I don't need anything expensive. I carry this that I bought at AC Moore, which is like Michael's or Joann's, but a little bit more fancy. That's my one I normally carry. The one I also carry around is this big honker bag. That is what I carry with a lot. What I like about these, and if you ever see these at AC Moore, these I had a $10 coupon when you get 2,000 points, I believe it is. So these, I got 2 of these. I gave one to my friend Mandy Pinecone on Ravelry, my wife. There's a pocket in the front, which you could actually put keys on, or maybe something else. There's 2 little pockets in the 2 other little pockets in the front. I had some safety pins on. It's just got a zipper, and inside is 3 pockets around the perimeter one side, and then 3 pockets on the other side. So in here, like every person, my new headphones, my favorite needles of choice, which is my carbons. I've invested in the longer, and my favorite is the shorter set. I don't know why. K-cups, because I do live in the Green Mountains, and if you've heard of the Green Mountain Coffee, you're welcome, and we're also sorry for your Keurigs. Another thing for stashing, if you have a lot of double point needles and you don't have any place to put them, I've learned that you can actually get these lovely little toothbrush holders, and the little needles might stick out on the bottom like this, but you know what? I'm thinking I might fill it in or something, and just, it's a perfect size for some knitting needles. The only ones I'm having a problem with are going to be the short needles, because they'll go right through the holes. But again, I'm planning on filling the hole maybe with some hot glue or something, because it's just two little cute holes. And right now on my little desk here, this is how bad I've gotten on these. Yeah, these are my double points. Again, carbons, my favorite. I think Lori from Two Tango Skeins, she just completely explained the carbons one day in one of her episodes that I liked. And I explained to a friend of mine that I met about a week ago. The whole concept, I think, with carbons and with knitting is if you like the grippiness of wood, but you also want your nickel, just to show my current project, nickel plated tips, best things in the world, especially for slippage. But you also get the grip of the carbon fiber, which is what would be the grip of wood. Very simple. This is my current project with my cute little stitch marker. My wife, you are the most evil person when it comes to this. We are both instigators when it comes to each other's purchases. Her husband loves me to death because if he doesn't want to go places, um, I bring her with me everywhere if we need to. We are going to have, she's on vacation this week in Las Vegas. Um, I'm on vacation next week. So hopefully, I think we have a planned on Thursday. So just in case if I don't record then, um, that's our day together. And we are going yarn shopping because payday is on Friday. Um, so simple yarn stash there, some other little things. I know a lot of other podcasters like to do crafts and things like that. So when I was watching the Cat Lady podcast, I started, I've seen maybe one or two of her current episodes. And so I remember my wife going in and doing a PVC nitty knotty. And if you don't know what a nitty knotty is, just think of two, you know, T's in opposite directions, opposite ends. So think of it almost like an anchor. And what you do is you use it to wrap your yarn up to make those common hanks, is what I call them. Also, another word would be skein or skein. Um, and it just makes it easy. You can make it a normal nitty knotty, which would probably be maybe 18 to 20 inches, and then you can get the smaller ones to make your mini skeins, which is seems like everybody's doing the mini skein blanket, but I haven't gotten that far in my life of knitting. I've only been knitting for about 2 to 3 years, thanks to Amanda or Mandy. Um, So, um, and just like every other knitting podcaster, you will also see we all like our tea. So I just wanted to add one little extra little special to my podcast, which is a tea stash. Um, I live in St. George, Vermont, which is the smallest town in Vermont, which is funny because our mascot is a dragon. So, and which is about 10 miles from Burlington, which is the largest city in Vermont. Um, we have three main tea shops, which I consider a tea shop. The first one, which is just an independent place called Dobra Tea. Um, the next tea shop to open up was, I think, the most popular tea place, which is Teavana, owned by Starbucks, my favorite coffee shop. Um, and that place, the store manager there, his name is Fabio. Whenever I go in, I always call him the crack dealer because the first time I went in there, I spent money. The second time, I spent more money. The third time, I spent even more money. And it's really, really good tea. Now, because we are maybe about 45 minutes, 50, 60 miles from the Canadian border, we have a new tea place in town called David's Tea. Really, 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 really good teas. Right now on my, I actually, let me just drink this tea first, and then I'll show you my little tea for one set. So David's Tea, this is what I bought from David's Tea. It's a tea, I call it a tea set for one. Um, like every Vermonter, I have a Keurig, and I actually have the Keurig 2.0, which is the carafe, and I just brew into my clear teapot the water. And right now, I just have my tea leaves in my little basket, and I just steep it for about 4 to 6 minutes. And my favorite sweetener of choice is the rock sugar from Teavana. So I just add maybe about 2 tablespoons of sugar to some, maybe about 2 to 3 tablespoons of tea leaves. Today's tea, or the tea of this episode, is um, thanks to, I think, Mandy Pinecone of Mandy Pinecone Crafts, which I just remembered her podcast. Uh, Hot chocolate. She told me about this, and I had to have it. Um, this is a medium caffeine. It's a two, um, and it's pretty easy. Not that bad. You know, with a sweetener, it does taste like almost like a hot chocolate, just like it says. But without that creaminess of with the milk and everything. Um, my other tea of my tea stash is Snow Day, which is got peppermint. If this was Smell-O-Vision, I'm sure you would love it. It's just a simple tea. I think this has got some. I gotta take them out to show you. These cute little peppermint snowflakes in it. Seems really, a little childish, but I think we're all big kids these days. Um, so those are two. If you get sick, especially now with it winter and cold season, my tea of choice is Cold 911. This the easiest way to talk about this is think of a cough drop ground up and made into a tea. This is very potent. It's got peppermint, juniper, and orange with natural eucalyptus and orange flavoring. Obviously, no caffeine in that. Another piece of my tea stash. Again, this is thanks to my wife Mandy. Um, this is our instigating each other. They have this sweet indulgence. I love their colors are gorgeous. And just so you see, it's like a you get 12 little tea tins. And the nice thing with these little tea tins, so you get a little tin. These each, I don't know how much you get in here, but you get enough. And the nice thing with these little tea tins, so myself personally, I usually use half of each of these to do a tea. Um, this one specifically is called Movie Night, and yes, that is popcorn. You brew popcorn. Obviously, I don't know why, but nice clear lids. I think either the Canadian Knitter podcast or Two Tango Skeins podcast. I don't know. I know they know of David's Tea, but I think Mandy might have done something with the little tins, and on the back it's got them like laser etched into the back of it. I don't know. I haven't tried taking it off or not, but if it doesn't come off, it's not a big deal. So this tea has toasted walnut, forever nuts, chocolate macaroon, mint chocolate rooibos, midsummer night's dream, organic blueberry jam, cherry blossom, strawberry rhubarb parfait, which is actually pretty delicious, movie night with the popcorn, um, mango madness, alpine punch, and pink lemonade. Um, Most of these, because I'm trying to do a lot of caffeine free, do not have much caffeine. Now, my first kit, and you'll see one of these is actually empty, was the Tea of the Month collection for 2015, I believe this was. Um, so this one has honey black, electric lemonade, which is heavily caffeinated, banana nut bread, berry refreshing, cherry blossom, organic serenity now, organic berry white, grilled pineapple, ginger beer, which I like ginger, so I actually drank all of that first. Yogi berry, spiced apple, and dark chocolate delight. So this podcast basically is devoted to teas. And then another favorite one that I actually drank yesterday was the English Tea Shop's Ginger Peach. Um, and then last but not least, um, my wife knows me well. These are now on the floor. These are blooming teas. So when you brew these, they blossom like a flower. They're absolutely beautiful, and I've always wanted one. And so Mandy bought me 7 of them. I've done one, but I did not know from Fabio that you can actually brew it again. So you can do your first steep, and then you could actually drink it, and then do a second steep with this. Did not know that, but it's a good thing to know now. Um, as of right now, to move on to the next topic, I don't have any promo stuff right now. I don't want to be one of those podcasters that just start. Yeah, I want to be like Jen from Stormcoast with the Uncreated Crafter. She has got my kind of mentality that I really don't want to start going out and pressuring people to give me promo